Hello everyone, this is Janet from Mixed Media Mama. Thank you so much for coming back, and all the newbies. Hey, thank you for giving me a chance, and all the ones that have been here before, welcome back. Hey, I am so excited to show you what I made with all brand new stuff. It is just fabulous. First and foremost, this chunky monkey is just bulging at the seams. But I had so much fun, I couldn't even stop. So let's just jump right on in. First, I will put all the details of everything that I used. The new collection, let's just say this right now, it is called Hinged to the Past. It is David's brand new collection. Love it. It is so versatile, and that's what I love showing all of you, is the versatility of each collection or special that David makes. It is just fabulous. So it is called Hinge to the Past, and I will put all of that down below, but there's even more. Yeah, the cover are new. The journal covers that came and was released also brand new in this journal cover, and you won't be able to see it on the outside because I'm Mixed Media Mama. Of course I use mixed media, but on the inside of the cover you will see it is just a beautiful kind of a taupe brownish color. Oh, love it. It is just sweet and silk feeling, and this is called Stone Washed Brown Square XL, and you will see from how he released everything, you will see all of that too. But I just want to show you this. I mean, look at it, can't even close on its own. So let's just jump right on in. I love, within this whole collection, I love to make my covers really texture. I am such a texture person, and so there were stencils that were released with this collection also, and so I just want to bring this up a little closer, and you can see the stencils. Of course, I use Tim Holtz sprays. I believe this was the I know the dark one was walnut stain and ground espresso, and then after I use the texture, I just put it was a texture paste through the stencil, and it kind of looks like a tree. That's what made me think of, I need to make this front of the cover look like an old door from like a castle that it would just take so much strength to open it up. But that's what I wanted to achieve, especially with the texture paste and the sprays. I used the ground espresso spray stain, and then I came back with the spritzes and I painted that on, and then I came back on top with some waxes, like gold wax. And I did that on the front. I'm going to see if I can open it. Front and back. Same concept on both the front and the back. These little hinges are in the collection, and I just added some Tim Holtz flat. They're like faux screws. You can kind of see them right there. Just really pop them up. I really like that texture. And of course, this little piece of faux leather that goes onto the spine is from an old faux jacket that I had, and I wasn't going to wear it anymore, and I loved the feel of it, so I cut it up, and it is making me happy in a whole different way. All right, as you can see with the door plate and this little doorknob, you can see that little, I'm going to say hinge, but it is just perfect to bring some elastic or soy silk or whatever string to close that. And of course, hinged unused, just hanging across, really is nice. And it is edged with, just on the front cover, edged with just some fibers that I had Even the spine is edged, and that is some tea-dyed cloth, I want to say. I don't believe it's cheesecloth. I think it's just some cloth that got tea-dyed, and so I use that. It's just a nice little cover. Hop right on in. I'm going to take this out. That butterfly is part of the die set. And then this piece of cloth is already dyed, coffee dyed, but I used the stencil to just put a little bit more of texture, visual texture there. Made it into a pocket, and of course the tag is the door open, and of course you open it up and it has those beautiful sayings, and those sayings are also part of David's. They are the journal phrases for, and it comes with the stamp and die. Love it. All kinds of things. Even in that shininess of the back, that is sprayed with the spritz through one of David's new stencils, and the stencils are Journal Stencils 6. I just love that. Love, 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 love. Now, all of my journals are meant to have two things in mind. A lot of pockets, because I am a pocket junkie, or tuck spots. I consider those pockets too. And for photos, because we all have so many thousands of photos on our phones, or even maybe some vintage photos of ancestries or children's, or, you know, whatever. That is what my journals are made. So it gives you some inspiration that you can put any types of photos, whether they are the Polaroid new small photos or 4x6s cut down, however, whatever floats your boat, and it will work. So this one right here, as you can see, before, let me see how I like when you first open a journal to see how it flows, and it just flows so well. This first page, the background is paste through a stencil. It is the Crackle paste from Tim Holtz, and you will see the other half of that page on the back side of the another page. The papers that I have used is, and then I just sprayed it with all kinds and came back with some waxes. The papers that I used into this journal is David's coffee dyed papers, the abandoned papers, and the grungy wood papers. I threw that grungy wood in there just because I loved the texture, visual texture. And of course, this is a little tuck spot right here if you want, but I didn't put anything down there. The butterflies is a die. The tag is a die, and I just sewed right through that. The butterflies. I did kind of pop them out just a bit. Here, I'm gonna see, I just popped them out just a bit, just to kind of give it a little bit visual, but the closing of the page kind of flattens them out, but that's okay. I like how it all, and come what may. His phrases this time are just so cool, very versatile, and they will go with anything. Now this one right here is a nice little envelope, and the tag comes with the die. The shape of the tag die comes with. Beautiful, and of course I just embossed that. Put a little, I love collage. You know, many of you know that I just really enjoy the collage. I'm gonna close in my camera, just, there we go. There we go. You can see how I love to collage, you know, just these little beautiful tabs. Oh, great idea, David. And I am a number queen. I just love different types of numbers. And of course, he also put in the journal sleeve fillers. And of course, this is where you can add your own photos. You can take these photos out and put your own in, because it is kind of a cascading, and stamps. And you can even put, so right here in this one page, you can have 4 photos. And why I put photos on the one side and you can write on the other on the tag. Really easy. I love to sew, and I love to incorporate fibers or fabrics. I am always searching for fabrics as wherever I go. Here is the same, this right here. I just cut it out and made it into a tuck pocket right here. David's coffee dyed paper. I just added a little bit of walnut staining. And the fun, if not now, then when. And here on this page, and I added I just alcohol inked, and I just added it because this little journal was falling out, so I wanted to, there's just a lot to look at on that. The rose flower die, the frame, and I did use soft finish cardstock, making my own papers with sprays. And then of course the cut corners. And then I used some of my own coffee dyed or tea dyed paper. Just a nice little simple little journal right there. I'm going to put that back on. And that just holds that little journal in. Also, on this side, I'm going to take this tag out. It's just sprayed on some soft finish cardstock, crumpled it up and made it look like that. You can put a photo there, journal on the back. But this is what I really wanted. I wanted to have, I stamped that onto some, it is the packaging of maybe some of your dies or stamps, or it's that plastic acetate. It's really, really thin. It's not a stiff acetate. And then I just did like an ATC frame and made it into a pocket. And I love that because it just is nice. Some stenciling. Here's the same flower 2 different ways. I'm going to take this out, put some book page back behind it, and this is just vellum, see-through vellum. You can kind of see that it has kind of a cloudy, and I just stamped that on. When you stamp on vellum or plastic, give it an ample amount of time to dry. I did a little bit of heat gun, and as you can see, this one is a little bit cloudier. I also came back with a little bit of cornstarch to help dry so the ink, because I used a VersaFine Clear Black on both of them. And because this is a really smooth, slick surface as the plastic is, it needed something just to really dry, because it would be close to an hour if I didn't do that. And what I did, I just used I'll reach over here. One of these little, this helps when you stamp. I just patted this onto that to help it dry. And on the vellum, I just allowed it, because it's a totally different surface. I just allowed it to dry, and it dried nicely. So anyway, It's on book pages. Same thing, 2 different ways. And here is ATC size, one of those beautiful frames that I tea-dyed. Excuse me, beautiful frames that I sprayed with spray stains and spritzes, and I made a tag. You can see I put that on. I sewed that onto some stronger acetate and sewed that right onto the, so it's kind of like a 2-for-1. So, you know, kind of in places that you can journal. It just, you know, I always like to throw a little bit extra into each photo or each place or each pocket to give you a little bit more versatility. Not to drown you, but that's just how my brain works. Okay, this was one of my favorite pages to use. I used the little envelope, made it cut out the center, and I'm going to pull these out. Oh. Put some acetate packaging, ink, alcohol inked it. Love this color. I just love that mustardy yellow. Just put a picture on. This is what an example that you can do. You can cut your pictures down and put, you can do a 3-generational layout right here and have 3 different, you know, 3. I just think that is so cool. David, you made that so versatile, so easy to use. This die is so easy. And then on the back, I use the hinges to make pockets for details of what the picture holds. I stamped that. I mean, in each one of these pockets is a different hinge. Worked out so sweet. More for the bang for your buck, right? Okay, and this one, this is half of the big hinge. And this, I turned this into a nice collage. Let me take these out, set those right there. And you can kind of see. This is half of the hinge. I just folded it over. The other half is on the other side. But I just, at this point of the journal, I'm starting to accumulate a lot of scraps. And so I just had a piece of washi tape, piece of, just a piece of the sprayed paper, a small piece of a die cut hinged on you, and I just kind of put it together. And these were already incorporated, the holes, and so I just put some brads in there, and that turned into, and I had a flap on the back on the page, so that just turned into a nice little tuck spot. So of course I made the simple a 4x4 photo, so you are 4x4 place so you put a photo and a smaller one. This one was a leftover journal card, one of David's out of his coffee dyed paper pack. It worked out really, really well. And you can see on the other side, I'll take that one out. Oop. Here is the other half of that too. And with some homemade vintage tape, some fibers, some leftover papers, and underneath all of that, I don't know if you can, underneath here is one of the hinges, and actually it's a door plate. It looks like to me a door plate. So I just kind of did a lot of layering. I love to layer. It gives you a lot of texture. Love the fiber, and of course I sewed it to the page. And this also is a tuck spot. Nope. Knocked over my light there. And this was just leftovers. And you can kind of see how I do these two flowers were from a frame that I used earlier, and leftovers. I mean, how easy. You literally can use up all things. You don't have to have so much. And David was so right when he made this lace border. You can see the backside of that textured page, as you will see in the next, when I flip it over. But I just love the coloration. I wanted to kind of mimic that coloration onto the lace. And I cut the lace out of the soft finish cardstock and then used spritz and a lot of water and heat dried the piece of lace, sewed it on here as a pocket, and then that wasn't good enough, so I just kept on going and I just collaged this little green piece right here. Is from one of the frames, the journal sleeves filler frame. The numbers, remember to play, the butterflies, all of this is leftover stuff. This little collage is just leftover stuff. And of course, I had tags, and you can kind of see how I sprayed the distress stains, some oxides, and that is literally, this one is also literally, this is a second generation stamp of when you first ink up your stamps. This design is in the collection. So you ink up your stamp and you get a nice bold stamp, and then you have another place to stamp the second generation off. I did it on here because this was already cut out, and I turned it into a tag. And all of them have places. You can use these in a variety of ways, totally up to you. Okay, as I turn the page, this is the last, you can see this is very similar to the very first page of the signature here. It just gives you a little bit more. You can see the crackle. I used Tim Holtz crackle paste on soft finish cardstock. That soft finish cardstock is the greatest thing. It holds up to a lot of mixed media that I throw at it. And let me tell you, it is phenomenal. I don't think I have ever seen any quality of cardstock that handles mixed media like I throw. I mean, that was a lot of water. Once the paste got done, I put distress stains on it, and I just kept watering it down. Love how it holds up. Really is nice. Then that just kind of goes into the next page. I did the same thing, different stencil with that crackle. And you can kind of see it kind of warped a little bit, but that's because there's nothing on the back side. Before I put that on, I definitely, soft finish cardstock, I definitely just used some oxides, the distress inks and the oxides, and I just dipped it and made my own. I love that. That just is, oh, yum, yum, yum. And then I put the crackle on it. And here's the cool thing about it, is that I did add a little bit of spray, but most of this right here on the crackle is, it soaked up the color from underneath. So then when I was inking, because I always love to ink the edges of my pages, I just went over that, and it just is so nice. It really stands out quite nicely. Okay, on to the next. This is just the back side of the previous page. This one right here, I just turned one of the stamps. This is a stamp and die set. And I just made it into a nice little belly band. Added some stamping here, some vintage tape. Here's one of David's cards from his coffee dyed set. Just added a few things. And then I didn't like the back of it. So I just added a vintage piece of paper that I coffee dyed. But I wanted to show you something here, if I can get it. This little magnifying glass, I die cutted the shape out of the ATC card. So basically you have a hole in it, and then I went, I put the vintage cardstock on, or the vintage paper on the back. Then I came back and I stamped it. So it kind of looks, and I don't know if the camera is picking it, it kind of looks like that stamp is inset into that card, but that's just how I wanted it. I wanted it a different texture, but I love that. But you can kind of see my finger underneath, but you can still put a picture, or you can put a picture here and write on the back of that. Either way. Here's another using the journal sleeve fillers and the frame. There is that beautiful stamp called the Rose. And I just colored it in with some spritz colors. I painted it through and dried it. I love, and of course this is getting very close to the end, I love making collages. And so this time I tried to make a collage that kind of looked, I did not have any clips, so I stained some paper clips, none of the other clips so what this was, I tried to mimic a clipboard using leftover items. A little piece of fabric, some leftover paper behind here, another fiber, stamped, used the love that's in the die sets and the sentiment, and just in a tab, and just put it all together and made it as a clip. And then on the other side, I did the same. Oh, excuse me, I didn't do the same, just on this side. But that's what that is. So then you can slide something underneath it. This is basically the center of the signature. So we're going to start here. I love using fibers, and here is those corners. But I also wanted to stamp. I stamped in black on David's coffee dyed paper, and I did a little stenciling there. It's very faint, but you can kind of see it. Used butterflies from this collection and spritzed them so they would look like they were on, and made this into a tuck pocket. This is really, really cute. If I can get this off. Uh-oh. There. I made a tiny little journal. I'm trying to get this unclogged here. There we go. And out of one of David's tags. This was the tag that goes into the envelope, and I made it into a nice little journal. Open it up using leftover papers. Maybe I'll put it right here instead. Here we go. Tuck that right into there. On the other side, I just mimicked the corners. Same die, stamp and die, but this one I cut out using the die, and this one I just stamped and left this hole. You can kind of see it. Since this was a center page, and I just used the stamped, and you can kind of see the stencil just a little bit. This is just an ATC card from David's Coffee Dyed, leftovers, collaged, sewed a bit. Nice. I love that grungy look, but yet still very functional. And here is another little clipboard that you can just tuck in something underneath, and is literally using leftovers. That tiny, tiny picture is just a thumbnail or thumbprint picture. Some tape, some leftovers, all the leftover pieces. And this piece right here, you can kind of see the butterfly. You can kind of see the butterfly right there. She's stuck into that. But this piece right here is half of a hinged print that I didn't like. Turned wrong, so I flipped it over and used, because on the back side of that is embossed, and I didn't like it, so I used it that way. There is just a little tab, negative spot, or negative piece from one of the frames. I mean, that is another reason why when you die cut your things off of all kinds of different papers, use the die cuts, use the offcuts, use the negative pieces to make collages. Love that, love that. This is the centerpiece to me of the whole collection, and hinged. Outside of the big hinges, this was really cool. Made this, the paper is out of soft finish cardstock, and I had some walnut crystals, and that's what made me think of the hinged door, and that also mimics the front cover. So I just used a piece of Velcro. This right here is half of a piece of one of the door plates of the stamps, fussy cutted it out. I also wanted to use some acetate in here, and it's mimicking some snowfall right here. Made this whole door into a tuck pocket. You will see. Open up the door. There is a window, and you can see the snowfall using Tim Holtz grit snowfall, or snowfall grit, whichever. And pull, it's just a picture. You can put your picture in there. I attached it on 3 sides, made it into a nice place that you can showcase. Here's another. Love this, love these. Oh, had the wrong one. This right here made it into a tag pocket. Used one of the hinges, just showcase. Love that. Isn't that so pretty? There's just probably 4 or 5 layers. I definitely used the stencils twice, 2 different colors. Piece of paper, book page, stamping. Did a little bit of spritz, but you can't really, on one of the stamps, but you can't really see it much. It didn't come out, but that, hey, I tried. And then just some more, it's just turned out. And then here's that tag. I used one of the frames for this as a frame. I did not leave these open. I figured you probably could put small pictures just right on top if you want. And then I stamped, "Don't grow up, it's a trap," and stamped it right onto there. There we go. And here is another, this is another of the, I will take this off. I made it into a, just a collage, put them together, sewed them right here. And my sewing machine was running out of thread. So I, instead of pulling it all out, ripping it all out, I really like that. So I left it. This was just leftover stuff, as this is. Really turned out to be a nice little, and you can put, you can put a picture underneath there. There's that beautiful interior on that back. And there you go. All right, everyone. I just love, love, love. David, this was a great collection. Hinged to the past. I will put pictures up on my Instagram and Facebook and in the Elizabeth Craft Designs pages, the family page and the Art Journal Specials page. So thank you. Love you all. Like and subscribe, and see you until the next video. Take care. Bye.